Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the February 18th Frontenac County Council meeting. I want to begin the meeting by reading our land acknowledgement. I want to note we begin this gathering by acknowledging and celebrating these traditional lands as a gathering place of the First Peoples and their ancestors who are entrusted to care for Mother Earth since time immemorial. We do so respecting both the land and the Indigenous people who continue to walk with us through this world. Today, the county is committed to working with Indigenous peoples and all residents to pursue a united path of reconciliation. First item on the agenda is a closed session. Moved into closed session.
Moved by Councillor Lichty, seconded by Councillor Greenwood Spears. Resolved that Council resolve itself into Committee of the Whole closed session as authorized under Section 239 of the Municipal Act to consider adoption of closed minutes of meeting held November 19th, 2025, and a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board as it relates to the expropriation of lands for the KMP Trail.
Any questions or concerns? All those in favor? Motion passed. And for the rest of the audience, our regular council meeting will begin approximately at 9:30. Thank you all. We now continue our agenda for our regularly scheduled meeting. Item 2.2, return to council.
Moved by Councillor Gowdy, seconded by Councillor Leonard, resolved that council rise from committee of the whole closed session without reporting.
Comments, questions? All those in favor? Approved. Item number 3, approval of an addendum.
Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Smith, resolved that the addendum for the February 18th, 2026 meeting of the Council of the County of Frontenac be approved.
Comments, questions? All those in favor? Approved. Item number 4, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none, thank you. Item number 5, adoption of minutes.
Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Smith, resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held January 21, 2026 be adopted.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Approved. Item number 13, recommended reports from the Chief Administrative Officer. Oh, sorry. Our two guests are going, wait, what happened to us? Not a good way to start, right? Item number 6, I believe. Thank you very much. Delegations and presentations. So we have a delegation presentation. Ms. Sheila McDonald and Ms. Kathy Gantz of the Wolfe Island Community Medical Clinic will address County Council regarding the request from the Township of Frontenac Islands for matching funds to support the nurse practitioner pilot project for the Wolfe Island Community Medical Center. Sheila and Kathy, I believe you have the floor. Kathy, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. And we just wanted to provide a bit of an update on where we have landed with the nurse practitioner clinic on Wolfe Island. As this group is aware, we had Frontenac doctors that used to come to the medical clinic on the island. And then a couple of years ago, they backed out. There were a number of reasons that they provided us, and of course, one being the ferry. With that, it left a void on the island for care for the island residents. So essentially, 1,600 residents were then left without care on the island and needing to go to Kingston to have that care delivered. Back in December of this year, through a community resident, we were connected with Iridia Medical Clinic, which is a nurse practitioner-led clinic. And very quickly, things came together, excuse me, for the agreement to have the Iridia nurse practitioners come to the island once a week. We were able to do this through fundraising efforts within the community, but also from a grant from the township. So this has been set up as a one-year pilot where they come over 1 day a week. Our ask is really about expanding the service to where that service was pre losing the physicians, where we had 2 half-day clinics a week. Providing medical care to the island residents. At that time, what our hope is that we would have at least 7.5 hours of a nurse practitioner at the clinic, which would then expand the service basically to what it was in the early days of having physician care delivered. This allows us an added benefit of being able to partner with the Queen's University nurse practitioner training program, where we would be part of their clinical program to train up-and-coming nurse practitioners. We've had 2 clinics, our 3rd one today, and it has been extremely well attended and extremely well received by the islanders. So we're good for our 1-year pilot, and the ask is to consider funding for 2027 to continue this service. We are aware that there are some changes at the provincial Ministry of Health with regards to funding of nurse practitioners. Recent searches indicate that there's very little information around that, and our fingers are well, they're crossed, but we're not extremely hopeful that we're going to see that anytime soon. This is also supplementing, I should add, that the clinic currently has foot care, dental hygienist care, life labs that come over, and the equipment loan services that is provided. All at that is at no charge. The nurse practitioner clinic is at no charge for Wolfe Island and Simcoe Island residents. And I'll defer to Sheila now to make sure that I captured all the highlights that I was supposed to.
No problem. So when we first approached the township of Frontenac Islands, we had put together a rough estimate as to what the costs would be for a nurse practitioner-led clinic, with the assumption that we didn't want the residents to have to pay the $49 per visit, and that we would look for support in funding those costs. So at that time, we estimated what we thought would be a reasonable amount. And that came out at for one clinic, 52 weeks of the year, it came out to a estimated cost of just over $40,000. And we were very grateful to secure a grant from the township to assist with those costs, with the balance coming from donations from residents and other fundraising activities that we do as a clinic, which includes the Wolfe Island Classic Race, which is our major fundraiser that takes place every July. In our negotiations with Iridia Medical around a number of hours and costs, we came out at a total annual cost of approximately $34,000, so somewhat less than our initial estimate was to the township, which is a good thing. So, you know, as Kathy said, we're looking to the county to provide perhaps a matching grant to the township to allow us to potentially expand what we're offering in terms of hours to the residents of Wolfe and Simcoe Islands. It's also a bridge for us because as a board, a volunteer board, prior to Frontenac Doctors leaving, our sole concern was fundraising and building management. But in our learning curve after that happened, and through the support of Debbie Miller and her healthcare team, we were able to discover the root cause of our issue, in that the RIO, or the Rurality Index of Ontario, did not score our remoteness correctly. And we've engaged Ted Sue. Ted Sue has gone to the Minister of Health, indicating that it underestimated the commute time for residents of the islands to get to their family doctor or to a specialist. And he's looking to the Ministry of Health to change our score to identify us correctly as remote. Thereby, we would get funding directly from the Ministry of Health. So we're hoping this initiative with the nurse practitioner will help bridge the gap because dealing with the provincial government is a long, slow process. We've come to learn.
So thank you both. I'm going to turn it over to council for questions, but perhaps you could both introduce what your role is.
Sure. I'm the treasurer for the community medical clinic.
And I'm the president of the medical clinic.
And all of that work is voluntary, if I remember right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's a good thing I retired this summer. Now I have time to really dedicate.
As we tell new board members, this is definitely a working board, not an advisory board. So everybody's pedal to the metal to make things happen.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to council, see if any councillors have questions or comments for you. Former Warden Lidke.
Thank you for your presentation and for coming and informing us of your plans. This, I understand it, is for the year 2027.
Well, we weren't certain that you hadn't finalized your 2026 budget.
And it's only for 1 year, you're asking, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Councillor Greenwood Spears.
Thank you. Just for clarity in that, the funds that you're asking for are actually from a reserve, so it doesn't matter about whether we finished our budgeting.
Oh,
that
okay.
It's reserve money, so there's
Okay.
no new tax money involved.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Judy. Yeah, we weren't clear on that, so thank you for clarifying. Appreciate it.
Well, you are volunteers. Other comments, questions? Seeing none, I'd like to thank both of you for your presentation. It was certainly on my behalf, it was well received, and we'll look forward to a discussion further on in the agenda. So
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and we are certainly available anytime to answer any additional questions or provide any clarification. And again, really appreciate the opportunity to meet with the county. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Madam Clerk. Oh. Whenever you raise your hand, I get very nervous, that's all.
As long as she doesn't kick you, you're okay.
That's right. Agenda item number 7, Therapeutic Recreation Month in February 2026.
That's moved by Councillor Lichty, seconded by Councillor Greenwood Spears, and through you, your worship, I'll just read the final resolve clause. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the County of Frontenac hereby proclaims the month of February as Therapeutic Recreation Month with the theme of Recreation Therapy Evidence in Action to showcase the many roles that therapeutic recreation play in a patient's healthcare journey.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Passed. Item number 8, move into Committee of the Whole.
Moved by Councillor Gowdy, seconded by Councillor Leonard, that Council adjourn and meet as Committee of the Whole Council with the Warden in the chair.
Comments, questions? All those in favor? Approved. Item number 9, CEO Monthly Briefing.
So good morning, Warden and Council. As always, I'll take you through my CAO's monthly report for February. I'll touch on the main points and happy to answer any questions. So first off, to highlight a few items from my February schedule. After a bit of a break, the Governance Review Committee met on February 3rd to review and finalize changes to the procedural bylaw. This is now live on the Engage Frontenac website, and it will be coming back to County Council. I have put my name forward to be part of the new EOWC CAO Healthcare Working Group. This group will be meeting to discuss various topics covering long-term care, paramedics, and healthcare recruitment and retention. Alto is hosting 2 public open house sessions today in South Frontenac. I won't be able to attend, but Joe and I have registered to participate in an upcoming roundtable discussion with Alto in March. The FMSC will have their annual general meeting on February 24th. In terms of a human resources update, we've had 58 postings as of February 9th. Summer student positions are posted for planning, economic development, and GIS. We've completed the human resources director recruitment, which I'll talk about later. Interviews for part-time paramedics is in progress, and ongoing recruitment at Fairmount Home as always. OPSU bargaining, we're waiting on dates, still on that, and we're in the middle of 3 mediations / arbitrations. We've been conducting 360 feedback surveys for various leaders throughout the organization, including myself, the CAO. We are doing some HR cleanup of our Tom Rims files in preparation to move to SharePoint, which will be up in the cloud. So each department is working through that. And Barb has been very busy updating policies before her retirement. Paramedics are currently undergoing their annual training requirements, which includes the Before Operational Stress Program. This program aims to support first responders' mental health and is primarily funded through a ministry grant. Our annual rebid is complete and will be in effect in May, and this includes the new 12-hour, 7-day-a-week resource approved in the 2026 budget. And the remounted ambulance sent away back in October 25 is now in service. To celebrate the 2026 Winter Olympics, the Fairmount Recreation Team hosted a wonderful mini Olympic tournament in the auditorium. Many participated in multiple friendly, fun, and accessible games. I want to take this opportunity to recognize one of our nurse practitioners, Rebecca McEwen, in her thoughtful and professional role as co-host for a staff and families inclusive session about considerations after long-term care admission. Thank you, Rebecca. Total measurable and digital engagements for January were up 13% from December and a very strong 23% from a year ago. There were 102 watch hours of council and committee meetings on the county YouTube channel, so people are watching yous. And the top performing social media posts were related to the Wolf Island Ferries, paramedic Stork Pins, Frontenac paramedic Alicia celebrating 20 years of service, and Claire at Fairmount Home celebrating 5 years of service. The number of planning applications for the month of January are relatively low given the weather and the time of year, and also includes several continuing on from 2025. The planning department has 2 planning studies underway. Our natural heritage study is in the background research and data collection stage, and we have retained Watson and Associates to update the growth data for population, housing, and employment projections. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Michael Fisher, our newly appointed Director of Human Resources with 20 years of HR leadership experience and an academic background in psychology and human resources management. Michael is well equipped with the skills necessary to step into the role. Michael will officially start tomorrow, February 19th, and will work with Barb to familiarize himself with the county. Now the part where I will try not to get emotional. Finally, I would like to thank Barb McCulloch for her all her contributions over the last 10 years and wish her all the best in retirement. Barb has been an integral part of our senior leadership team, and under her leadership, the HR team has established strong programs and initiatives that have had a positive impact across our organization. From a family-owned business to fast food, retail, high-tech industry, healthcare, and municipal government, Barb has had an impressive 45-year career. She has informed us that it's time to live life to the fullest and get into some trouble. So just not sure who she's going to call to bail her out yet. Barb, I know I've said it many times, but I truly appreciate your commitment to our employees, your diligent work effort, and positive attitude. I can confidently say on behalf of the county that you will be dearly missed. We look forward to keeping in touch and hearing about your upcoming adventures. Please join me in congratulating Barb. And on that note, I'll take any questions from council.
Thank you for the CEO and well done, by the way. Very tough to do sometimes. Councillor Greenwood Spears.
Yes, I was just noticing on the communications piece, the Howe Island Ferry X Twitter account only had 9 engagement. Is that us sending out 9 messages? Because there's been a lot of things going on in Howe Island regarding that ferry, and it just seems very striking.
I don't have the answer for you right this moment, but I can look into that and get back to you.
Okay. And second, regarding the Watson and Associates doing the update on the growth projections and that, I'm not sure, well, I'm looking forward to make sure that the egress is also included because, you know, we are unique in the area in that when we have so many academic institutions in the area, let alone all the recreational, seasonal, etc. And I was down in, again, Nockway when there was a presentation that regarding labor force and that, and it was impressive that they had the egress showing that some of the areas, you can talk about a whole bunch of retirees moving to the area, but the whole lot of young people have left it. So I'm really looking forward to a very detailed report on that.
Thank you.
Duly noted, CEO. Thank you. Other comments, questions? Seeing none, thank you for your presentation. Item number 10, unfinished business. There is none. Item number 11, consent reports from the Chief Administrative Officer. There are no consent reports to report on. And item number 12, Committee of Management and Fairmont Homes. Item 12.1.
Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Smith, that the Committee of the Whole Council adjourn and meet as Committee of Management of Fairmount Home with the warden in the chair.
Comments, questions? Sorry, Councillor Greenwood Spears. Yeah. Sorry, that you're for the next item? Okay,
Regarding the resident and family satisfaction.
okay, we'll
Result.
cover that in the next item.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, all those in favor of moving into Committee of Management? All those in favor? Thank you. Approved. Item 12.2, Report 2026-015, Fairmont Home Resident and Family Annual Satisfaction Survey. And Ms. Brandt is here to answer any questions.
Okay.
Oh, my apologies. I thought perhaps you were going to start with an opening statement. Councillor Greenwood Spears.
Okay, thank you. Excellent response rate, and it's improved, and I'm very pleased. The one thing that caught my attention was question 43. I'm always asked if I want to participate in the activities happening at the home, and it had a 19% drop, and that, which sort of caught my attention. That, so can you speak to that? Were we short a recreation therapist at some point or something?
We were short one temporarily. The only thing that has really changed is the resident population. So as far as recreation activities, they're provided to every resident monthly. They're available at reception, and in the week at a glance is posted on every home area. And at each post admission and annual conferences with the residents and their POAs and families, there's questions about what activities the resident might like to participate in. And if those occur, we actually approach the individual resident as well. So I was surprised as well by that. So I'm working with the team, and as well, I'm presenting the findings to residents council after it's presented to county council. So just to look at, some suggestions maybe from the residents themselves, how best we can engage with them. So I certainly will be doing that as well. And it's already been shared with family council as well.
Other comments, questions regarding that report? Seeing as so that report is for information only. Item 12.3, Report 2026-016, Fairmont Home Long-Term Care Home Service Accountability Agreement, LSAA, Schedule E, Form of Compliance Duration. That's a long one.
Moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Lichty, resolved that the Council of the County of Frontenac receive the Fairmount Home Long-Term Care Home Service Accountability Agreement Schedule E, Form Compliance Declaration Report, and further that Council of the County of Frontenac direct the clerk to sign the Long-Term Care Home Service Accountability Agreement Schedule E, Form of Compliance Declaration for return to Ontario Health.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Approved, thank you. Item 12.4, Report 2026-018, Fairmont Home Q4 Quarterly Update Report. This information is reports for information only. Any comments or questions? Councillor Greenwood Spears.
Thank you. I noticed there was 3 different Ministry of Labor inspections done, and that between December the 19th and January the 19th. Yeah, I'm used to seeing lots of the Ministry of Long-Term Care inspections, but not so much Ministry of Labor. Could you elaborate on that one, please?
Yes, that would go the same for us as well. They have a current focus on violence in the workplace. So that's what initiated the first on-site visit. And they are, I've done some research with local peers who in local homes, we're all encountering the same inspections. So when they came in for the first inspection, the home had an outbreak, and as explained in the report, they did see some staff drinks and food sitting on the nursing station. And so we thought we had addressed those concerns at a post inspection, and unfortunately found some more hidden drinks, et cetera, within the resident home areas. So as outlined in the report, just our final response, and then the third visit from the Ministry of Labor Inspector, just to confirm that the changes that were put in place are effective, and that has been the case with the third visit.
So the good news is that there was nothing related to violence in the workplace or anything, just drinks.
Correct, correct.
They have very little to do, I think.
Correct. But in all honesty, it's about the protection of our workers, which is important as well.
So for clarification, those drinks are non-alcoholic, correct?
Correct.
No,
correct.
I know that was gonna garner some laughter, but it's important to understand that's not alcohol in the workplace.
No, that's correct. We're typically speaking of water, maybe coffee too, but water and coffee primarily.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on the report? Seeing none, we'll move to 12.5, Committee of Management of Fairmont Homes.
So moved by Councillor Greenwood Spears, seconded by Councillor Gowdy, that Committee of Management of Fairmount Home adjourn and revert back to Committee of the Whole Council.
Comments, questions? That is approved, passed. Thank you. And I should have commented, Ms. Brandt, that was an excellent presentation. That's a lot of work that's your organization's gone through, and it's very much appreciated. Item number 13, recommended reports from the Chief Administrative Officer, Report 2026-014, Corporate Services 2025 Year-End Report of the County of Frontenac Emergency Management Program Committee.
Moved by Councillor Leonard, seconded by Councillor Fowler. Be it resolved that the Council of the County of Frontenac receive the Corporate Services 2025 Year-End Report. And further, that a copy of the 2025 Year-End Report of the County of Frontenac Emergency Management Program Committee be posted to the County of Frontenac website.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Approved. Item number 13.2, Report 2026-017, Planning and Economic Development Trailhead Funding Agreement, Sharpet Lake.
Be it resolved that moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Smith. Be it resolved that the warden and clerk be authorized to enter into an agreement with the Township of Central Frontenac for the purpose of providing the Township of Central Frontenac with $100,000 to establish a trailhead for the KMP Trail in the village of Sharpet Lake, and further that council authorize the use of $100,000 from the KMP Trail Reserve to fulfill this commitment.
Comments, questions? Councillor Smith.
Just a comment that we've already got our cleaners in place at our last meeting. It's not built yet.
Thank you for that update. Other comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Approved. Item number 13.3, Report 2026-019, Corporate Services Annual Accessibility Status Report.
Moved by Councillor Lichty, seconded by Councillor Greenwood Spears. Be it resolved that in accordance with Ontario Regulation 91-11, Integrated Accessibility Standards, Section 4.3, that a copy of this annual accessibility status report be posted to the County of Frontenac website, and further that in accordance with Ontario Regulation 91-11, Integrated Accessibility Standards, Section 4, 3.1 and 3.2, that a copy of the annual accessibility status report be forwarded to the Township Frontenac lower tiers for posting on their respective websites.
Comments, questions? Councillor Greenwood Spears.
I was just wondering, do we have a deficiency list across the townships and that of things that we're still working on and that for accessibility?
I guess I'll turn that question to the CEO.
Not that I'm aware of. I'm also turning this question to the clerk to see if she has anything to add there.
So I can't speak to that. That would be a question to your township accessibility coordinators. The information that is coming from this report is basically what is sent to the Accessibility Advisory Committee throughout the year. So this is what is brought to the committee from the townships. That's not to say that other things aren't happening. It's just this is what we're aware of through the Accessibility Advisory Committee.
Councillor Greenwood Spears.
Yeah, the reason I ask is when this was first brought in legislative wise, I'm pretty sure we all had to make deficiency lists and that for all the inaccessible steps going into places. And I just wondered if we'd ever look back at any updates. I know that anything we're building now is always brought up to code and that without any difficulty in that, but I'm just curious as to what list might still be existing, 10, 15 years after this was first brought in.
So if I might, I believe that would be the responsibility of the individual townships.
So there, you're speaking of accessibility audits for buildings and structures that were in place at the time. So each township would have had their own, the county would have had their own as well. The county's is somewhat null and void now because the administration building has been totally redeveloped and we don't actually own facilities. So again, it would be a discussion with your own township staff to see where is your accessibility audit and what is still outstanding on it.
And if I stand correct, and they get reported back to the accessibility committee. Or at least those reports come to the county's accessibility committee for review.
Again, that's what township brings to the committee. Like the committee or myself have no authority over township staff or the township. So it's whatever is brought to us on that quarterly basis.
Other comments, questions? Seeing none, we have a motion. All those in favor? Approved. Thank you. Item 13.4, agenda item 13.4, report 2025-020, corporate services setting of the 2027 county council orientation budget deliberations and solicitation of public input.
Moved by Councillor Gowdy, seconded by Councillor Leonard, resolved that the Council of the County of Frontenac confirm the following dates for the new council orientation and 2027 budget deliberations. So October 1 to November 30th, 2026 will be the 2027 Frontenac County budget project open on the engage frontenac.ca public site for public engagement. On Tuesday, January 19th, 2027 will be the new council orientation, which is an introduction to council in the County of Frontenac. Wednesday, January 20th, 2027 will be another, again, new council orientation, which will be the introduction to external agencies and public meeting for solicitation of public input into the 2027 budget. And this is part of your regular council meeting that day. And then on Wednesday, February 10th, 2027 will be council presentation of the 2027 business plans and project proposals for the detailed budget presentation. And on Thursday, February 11th, 2027 will be day 2 of those proposals. And then on Wednesday, February 17th, 2027 will be council presentation, a detailed full budget presentation.
Comments, questions? Councilor Fowler?
Yes, regarding the October 1st to November 30th, 2026, would that be with the new county council?
No, that's not part of the new county council, but that's just simply putting the budget documents and the proposed of everything that the county does on the Engage Frontenac public engagement site so that the public can see what our budget is. We do it every year, so it doesn't really involve council, but I believe that staff take direction or present to council during budget deliberations any comments that were made on the public engagement site.
Thank you.
So for clarification, the incoming council will essentially approve a budget for their period. They're not inheriting a budget, is that correct?
That's correct. So the 2027 budget will be done in February of 2027.
And sorry, Councilor Licky.
Thank you for this. My only concern is that first meeting of the Frontenac County Council is November, or is it December?
The inaugural meeting is November and the first actual business meeting is December.
Okay, so then, but we don't do a lot with them until the new council orientation on January the 19th. Is there anything planned in between or earlier to say, yeah, this is what you got yourself into, this is what your responsibilities are? I mean, it's always an eye opener, at least it was for me. It was a good one, but still.
So again, these are just dates for county council. There are also joint council orientation sessions that will be happening. The clerks group is working on that right now. So we typically have legal come to that as well as the auditors come to that. There's a representative from the insurance company that comes to speak about roads and liability around that aspect. The integrity commissioner speaks at that meeting as well. And then there's some mandatory training that happens at those sessions as well that counselors are required to have. So there are joint council orientation sessions happening as well. This is just specific to the county.
Other comments, questions? Councillor Greenwood Spears.
Yeah, mine was along the same line as Councillor Lichty, and I'm just wondering, is there any flexibility of having it earlier in January even? Because it does seem a little bit long in the tooth and that to have it the 19th and 20th. Is there an opportunity sooner than, because you're going to have a lot of new people sitting around because some people aren't running. And yeah, and getting it under their belt and that for a bit of orientation if possible, and that in December I think would be advantageous, and that just for them to get their heads around it. But
So the reason we typically move to January is because December is a busy month for everyone with the holiday season. The beginning of January as well, people are not here the end of December, so to get an agenda out and to get all of this information pulled together can be a little bit daunting and time consuming for those who are not here. So that's typically why it's been pushed into January. And again, we're here for council. Any new member of council who comes, we're here for them to help support them. If they have any questions, staff are always available. But that's typically why those dates are set. But I'm not.
Councillor Smith.
So the last meeting of this council is October 21st.
That is correct.
Councillor Smith, may I ask why you're asking?
I just,
There's a, there's a party on over the hill road.
could be.
It could be. You heard that.
If I can pick up on Councillor Litkey's point, I believe this schedule marries with the schedule that the various CEOs have at the township level for their own orientations.
That I'm not too sure. Again, I work with the clerks to do the joint orientation. This is again more just geared to council or county council orientation. And if you'll recall at your orientation session, we'll go with the same route again, where it's sort of like a speed dating type session where you get a one-on-one with each department, an opportunity to ask your questions for information to be presented in a relevant manner.
So perhaps picking up on Councillor Litkey's point, at the township level, there will be additional training and activities and meetings orchestrated by the clerk or the CEO. So for somebody coming into these roles, there'll be lots of information and you'll have a fairly full schedule. So just want to make that point. Councillor Green Spears.
just one particular item. In November, we would, my concern is regarding the new Southeast Health Unit, because it's going through an active merger. The majority of people on the board are municipal people that are appointed. So I'm wondering how smooth of a transition it is for that particular board. Not to say that other boards aren't really, really important, but that one there is in a important time frame. That's in the third year of 3 years of funding and that. And I'm just wondering how soon will people be appointed into that board, because I can see a challenge if we end up with 2/3 of the board not there until December. Is it going to be, or can it be done in November, first meeting after we're signed in and that's sworn in? I realize that, but that's why I'm asking, what's the soonest reasonable date for an appointment into that board? Well, that's what I'm saying, but this board in particular is the one I'm concerned with at this point.
Madam Clerk, could I ask you to take that as follow-up and determine what's required?
Well, I could maybe answer the question now. So those appointments are made at the council meeting in December. I'm not sure what other municipalities do. Typically, your first council meeting is a formal meeting. A lot of single tier or lower tier municipalities perhaps have a special council meeting right at the beginning of November to do their inaugural. We don't have that luxury because we don't know who's going to be coming to county council until you have those meetings. So I don't have the luxury of calling a special council meeting. So the inaugural in November automatically happens on that third Wednesday when the townships have advised us of who is coming to county council. And then the appointments are done at the first business meeting in December.
Any other comments, questions? I would make one other comment. This is a good time for those individuals considering running for office to start getting involved in the process, understanding what the schedule looks like. I know that some of the townships are offering, so you want to be a counselor kind of training sessions. That may be available to others as well. This is a good time to start thinking your way through that and what all is involved. And despite what Councillor Litkey said, or in addition to what he said, perhaps a better way of saying it, it's a demanding job, but it's an extremely interesting job and something that's very, very rewarding.
May I add, Warden, you are 100% correct.
I'm glad I
Just to
got it right.
confirm.
Glad I got it right. So that was a motion. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor? Approved. Item 13.5, report 2026-022, Corporate Services 2025 Frontenac Howe Island Islander petition for subsidy.
Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Smith, resolved that the Council of the County of Frontenac receive the report, and further that council authorize the clerk to petition the Ministry of Transportation for $1,272,924. Couldn't round that up, could you, Phil?
Comments, questions? I did have one. I want to point out to County Council that this budget is somewhat unique in that we don't actually approve this budget as a county council. And I always like to point out that the taxpayers for the township of Frontenac Islands pay 20% of the overall cost. So there's a lot of interest by islanders in terms of what the budget is consisted of. And we often get specific questions that get directed to the CEO regarding various expenses. So any other comments or questions on that? Seeing none, all those in agreement? Approved. Item 13.6, report 2026-023, Corporate Services Authorization to Sell Surplus Trail Lands in Tichborne.
Moved by Councillor Greenwood Spears, seconded by Councillor Lichty. Be it resolved that the County Council authorized the warden and clerk to execute an agreement of purchase and sale with the abutting landowner at 11628 Road 38 for the conveyance of lands legally described as Concession 1, Part Lots 18 to 20, Concession 2, Part Lots 16, 20, and 21 in the former township of Hitchinbrook for the agreed purchase price of $5,600, and further that the county clerk is hereby further authorized to execute all closing documents as may be required in order to complete the subject transaction and to do all other things as may be reasonably required to close and complete the foregoing transaction.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Approved. Item number 14, information reports from the Chief Administrative Officer. These are from information only. Report number 2026-012, Human Resources, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee, a statement of respect. Any comments, questions? Seeing none. The next report is 2026-13, Corporate Services 2025 Annual Report for Delegation of Authority. Any comments, questions on that? Seeing none, thank you. There are no reports from the Advisory Committee of County Council. Item number 16, return to council.
Moved by Councillor Leonard, seconded by Councillor Gowdy, that council revert from Committee of the Whole Council to council.
Comments, questions? All those in favor? Approved. Item number 17, adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole of Council.
Moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Fowler, that the report of the Committee of the Whole Council be adopted and that the necessary actions or bylaws be enacted.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Approved. Item number 18, at this point, I'm going to ask for council's permission to remove myself from the chair and ask Councillor Litke to assume the chair position. Any concerns with that? We have approval to do that? Thank you very much. Councillor Litke, you have the chair.
Thank you. So the item is 19.1, well, on my agenda. Funding support for Wolf Island and nurse practitioner, moved by Warden Saunders and seconded by Councillor Greenwood Spears.
Yes, and so through you, Councillor Lichty, we'll just skip through the whereas clauses and straight to the resolve clause. Now therefore be it resolved that County Council approve the allocation of funding in the amount of $17,500 from the Strategic Project Reserve for Healthcare to support the Wolf Island Nurse Practitioner Initiative.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Councillor Smith?
I personally don't feel comfortable doing this since it's a 2027 ask and I won't be here. So I will not be voting.
So an abstention though is a no, okay? Councillor Greenwood Spears.
Just for clarity in that, it was made clear by the presenters, they were not aware that this was coming from a reserve fund. They thought that they couldn't apply for it and they wanted to do the second because it's already over full for the people that are using the nurse practitioner program, and they want to do the second day. So that, once that was clarified, if the funds went forward, and that I have absolutely no doubt they would have the second day and it would probably be full at this point in time again. So it's something that they wanted, but they just didn't understand that it was going to come from a reserve fund, that they thought that our budget was already fixed and that, but it is, it's something that they wanted last year and got denied. And this is the second time around for it. So I believe if we move forward on it, it would be from the reserve for this point in time. If they didn't get their second day going, and that they would still keep it and apply it for the next year, but it's just coming straight from reserve. And it is to get a second day going for the nurse practitioner because it's already overbooked. And given our ferry scenario, this is critical because it prevents or stops a lot of people from having to get in the lineup and investing not only their time, but also the space on the boat for getting over to the physicians. So the nurse practitioner is really meeting a huge need. And it would just bring us up to where we were with the Frontenac doctors that we lost because of the boat.
Councillor, Warden Smith or Warden Saunders. Sorry,
No apology
I
required.
didn't do that on purpose. That was strictly an accident.
I want to add to Councillor Greenwood Spears' comment. I had some discussion with the two presenters earlier, and yes, the intent is to extend the hours. I think the 2027 number came up because of how Councillor Greenwood Spears has explained it. I want to point out, as we all know, we as a council made a decision to not to remove or not renew the paramedic station on Wolf Island. There were a lot of reasons for that. One of them was obviously financial. The other is Chief Charbonneau at the time pointed out that it was extremely difficult to staff because of some unique, I guess, union arrangements with low, $2 an hour payment and all this kind of stuff. So it was very messy. It was hard to get it staffed. And in reality, because of our regional dispatch, what would happen is that ambulance would be gone at the first call. So there was definitely some financial reasons why that was removed, but also some practical ones. I believe what this motion indicates is that the township is doing whatever we can to start improving the medical situation on the island. There's some other initiatives involved, this ROI that they talked about, help from Debbie Miller. There's a lot going on, and this is I believe, an important step for us to start resolving the issue of minimal medical support on the island.
Councillor Fowler?
Is this a time sensitive thing? Like it's better to do it sooner than later? And if it is, I can understand that.
So who have I got here? Well, it's your motion, Warden Saunders.
Thank you. So it's not time sensitive in terms of as soon as this funding is available, they'll be looking to, as they point out in the presentation, looking to increase the number of hours, whether that's hours that day or in a second day, they'll work those details. But the exciting part of all this is the partnership with Queens as well, which was also documented on that.
So I'd like to make a comment. The resolution as presented doesn't say when it's to be paid. Doesn't say 2027, 2026. We have the verbal reasoning behind why they mentioned 2027, and why I picked up on it on their presentation. It would be for 2026, we understand. It's the first time that Frontenac Islands Township has come up with a cost-sharing arrangement, and they have Queens involved. I think this is a good thing, and I think I can get behind this one. So, any other comments, Councillor Smith?
I just have one more question. We talked about Wolf Island. Is Howe Island included in this?
Howe Island is not included. The money goes directly to the Wolf Island Medical Clinic, which is the group of volunteers that you saw present. Howe Island is somewhat unique in that although we have very challenges, they're not to the same extent. And we do get good medical response from either Leeds Grenville or from Frontenac in terms of medical support. So it's not the same issue that we
But
see.
you could go to the nurse practitioners if you had to or wanted to?
I guess that's a great question and I don't have an answer.
Sure.
It just
Madam
seems
Moderator?
strange that it was just Wolf Island and the other one.
Councillor
I didn't
Greenwood
think about
Spears.
that.
Yeah, Wolf Island being the larger of the islands, and having grown up there, and that I can give a long history in that of horrendous accidents and how we ended up purchasing a trailer and working with Dr. Mary and all that stuff. But the good news is for Howe Island, I've been repeatedly assured that they do not have that issue at all, and that they have the foot ferry that gets ambulance from Gananoque. They have the Howe Islander 2 that gets it from the Joyceville Road and it, as Chief Quinn has assured me, not his issue at all. And that, but Wolf, on the other hand, it's legendary, the issues of transportation and it is 1,600 people.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else? Councillor Gowdy?
Thank you. So this is just a 1-year pilot. So further to Councillor Smith's comment, we are not committing anything to another council that might be made up of many unknown people at the moment.
That's correct. This will be taken from this year's allocation of the fund. Yes.
Anyone else? Any other comments? Let's call the vote. In favor of this resolution as presented? Opposed? Carried. Return the meeting back to the warden.
Thank you, Councillor Licky. Much appreciated. Item number 18, giving notice of motion. Any notice of motion being presented? Seeing none. Communications, no resolutions required for this. Madam Clerk, do we need to identify those, or people are just going to ask if they have a question?
No, they're just put on there so that the public has notification of all information that council receives.
Thank you for the
Public
clarification.
transparency.
Item number 21, 21.1, under other business, appointments to the administrative committee.
So at present, the administration committee is made up of the warden, the deputy warden, and a member of council from the 2 other townships. So we are in need of an appointment from one from North Frontenac and one from Central Frontenac.
So I should ask for nominations. Do we have any nominations? Councillor Licky.
I'd like to nominate myself from North Frontenac.
And Madam Clerk, for purpose of process, a person can nominate themselves.
Councillor Fowler?
Yes, I'll nominate Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other nominations for that position? Seeing none, all those in favor?
No, we don't need to call this here. We just need the other one from Central. Very informal for appointments to committees. It's not
Okay.
like the chair.
So we need another nominee.
I nominate Councillor Smith.
Counselor Smith, do you?
It'll be my last administration committee. Maybe.
So we now have the motion moved by Councillor Lichty, seconded by Councillor Greenwood Spears, that Councillor Lichty and Councillor Smith be appointed to the Administration Committee for 2025.
All those in favor? Approved. Madam Clerk, I was trying to be as official as possible, and I actually went too far. Duly noted. Item number 22, bylaws, general bylaws and confirmatory bylaw, 22-1, first and second reading.
Moved by Councillor Gowdy, seconded by Councillor Leonard, resolved that leave be given to the mover to introduce bylaws 1 through 4 that have been circulated to all members of County Council, and that bylaws 1 through 4 be read a first and second time.
Comments, questions? All those in favor? Approved. Item 22-2, third reading, resolve that, oh, sorry, that's your part.
Moved by Councillor Gowdy, seconded by Councillor Leonard, resolved that bylaws 1 through 4 be read a third time, signed, sealed, and finally passed.
Comments, questions? All those in favor? Approved.
Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Smith, that the meeting hereby adjourn at 10:29 a.m.
All those in favor? Approved. Thank you all for your patience.